There we go. Okay, there we go. Okay, I'll just do a little introduction for those people that may be watching this on YouTube or at a different time. If you'd like to join the Zoom room, it's on Wednesdays at noon Central Time, and you can message me your email and I will put you on that list. We'll do like a half an hour recording, and then I'll stop the recording so that we can have just people feel comfortable with bringing up whatever is really in their minds that they want to talk about. So with that being said, does anyone here have any burning desires to talk about something specific? I have something in mind, but I thought I'd just open up to you. If there's something people want to talk about, I'd be more than happy to address it. Okay, well, I think one of the
I have something I'd like to talk about.
okay.
It's about, as much as I hate to admit it, it's about my self-worth based on how many clients I have.
Oh, okay.
Ugh, yeah.
Yeah,
Just keep coming up. So,
yeah, and it has nothing to do with how many clients you have.
yeah,
You just don't see your worth.
right.
And so I would let go of the clients because that's really neither here nor there. And this is where, this is perfect. This is where, the prayer to Holy Spirit would be something like, Holy Spirit, show me my worth so that I can experience it. Because we all want to experience our worth. And, this is what makes Course in Miracles so different than anything else. All religions have a dogma. So, if it's to go to church on Sunday or whatever, they all have dogma. And I'm not saying dogma is bad. It is what it is. But A Course in Miracles is dogmaless, whatever. It really is between me and God. So in this case of not feeling worthy, whether it's to have a lot of clients or whether it's to, have the peace of God, for whatever it is, they're lessons I would learn. Everything is a lesson I would learn. So if I'm having fewer and fewer clients, I, in my heart, I think, ooh, that's great. You're moving through the need to have clients, maybe. I don't know. But this is, I had a practice and it would ebb and flow with whatever. And usually when it would get lighter, it was for me to have more time. And this is where I was still in confusion at the time. It gave me more time to work on my property, which is, just as silly as having a lot of clients. Because really the only relationship that I need to work on in order to feel worthy is my relationship with Holy Spirit and God. And since God cannot perceive anything. One of the big differences between Holy Spirit and God doesn't perceive. And then we perceive too much because we have a problem with perception. Perception is everything that's taken in with the senses. Okay, maybe someone, hang on, I'm going to mute everybody so we don't get a lot of feedback. So God and Holy Spirit, God doesn't perceive anything. That's why God has nothing to do with this world, because this entire world is perception bound. And perception, this is where my scientist gets to come out, is totally based on our senses: smell, sight, sound, taste, touch, the ephemeral that a lot of people speak of, where you just know something is true. Those are really perceptions. All perceptions are of the ego. Absolutely every single one of them, no matter what. Doesn't matter if we like ice cream or not, because I like the taste of ice cream. It's an ego perceived condition. So what A Course in Miracles is allowing us to do is to move through and above this world of perception. So the perception is, you don't have as many clients as you'd like. It's a perception. Instead, it's to go to Holy Spirit. And since Holy Spirit can see your concern over your perception, and Holy Spirit knows the truth of who you are. So God knows that we're love. See, all we can be in God's mind, God isn't a human, God is an experience. God is an experience. And God just knows love. So when I think of God, all God experiences is a loving thought. And it's not even of calico. It's just a loving thought. Now, Holy Spirit is our comforter, the mediator, the one that it can access both worlds of perception and of the truth of who we are. So when we're caught in our perception, I don't have as many clients as I'd like. The only thing to do is to go to the comforter and pray. And prayer is not like 12 Hail Marys and 2 Our Fathers or whatever your world gave you. The prayer is, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. That's a prayer. And I say keep it as simple as possible. A, I don't have the memory to memorize prayers anymore. And B, I just want help right now. And so I need to keep it real simple. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Whatever it is, whether it's something that we perceive that we need, or something that we feel we're judging that we don't want to do. Because again, judgment can only exist in a perceptual world. Because judgment is based on perception. And perception, when it's not in the moment of now, perception is based on a belief from the past. And so we have to bring it into the present. As soon as we recognize that we're in the past for whatever reason, again, it's a prayer to Holy Spirit. Holy Spirit, help me get into the present of now with you and and experience the truth of what all of it is. Because all of it is just to learn the lesson of love. That's all it is. So actually, not having as many clients as you'd like is your personal lesson to learn how to love. It's a beautiful thing. And that's all the lessons are. For me, it was, I had this conversation about humility with someone this week. And for me, humility did not come naturally. And for whatever reason, I found humility as being weak. If you're humble, you're weak. And And given the family of origin that I came through, I felt weak most of my childhood. And then I felt a victim to my childhood. So my perceptual world went, oh, we're not going to be humble. We're going to take charge. We're going to grab this bull by its horns and we're going to ride them until they, give in to my will. And that's pretty much how I took on my world. I'm going to beat it into submission. And I'm sure all of you can relate to this on whatever way you relate to it. Probably not the most effective way to deal with the world, trying to beat it into submission. It doesn't submit. It just is. And since the world was born out of separation, because that's all the perceived world is, the perception of separation, I will suffer. I just will suffer. And I have proven to this to myself throughout my life that, yeah, I can suffer a lot, but that doesn't deserve a gold medal. And that's kind of where I was holding it. It's like my badge of honor. I can suffer a lot. Now, again, I was raised in Catholicism, where suffering is given into, angeldom. If you suffer greatly, and, Jesus was crucified, and they focus on the crucifixion. They focus on the pain and the suffering, because Jesus was a good guy, and he suffered terribly for us. And that's how I came up with my way of dealing with the world, which I don't recommend for anyone. And the real thing is moving back into humility, because only with humility and honesty can we experience God. Humility and honesty. And given those two traits, we will access the experience of God. But I had to unlearn all that I thought humility meant. Well, I had to, unlearn what I thought honesty was. In my world, honesty was a cash register honesty. It was based on perceptions, and I have more than you, you have more than me, that kind of thing. The honesty in A Course in Miracles is getting honest to how I'm feeling. The toughest question we'll ever ask ourselves, how am I feeling? And I couldn't answer that honestly most of the time. I'm fine. That was my stock answer. I'm fine. And I came to understand, fine, fucked up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. But I'm fine, and don't ask me anything else, because I'm not going to own up to it. Because that meant I was weak again. And if I showed weakness, and this again may not be your experience, in my family of origin, if you experienced weakness, you're doomed. I'd hear my father come home at night. And my brother did the same thing. I saw him doing it. We never talked about it, but we'd head to our rooms, close the door quietly, and wait and see how it was going to be. Because you never knew. And you didn't want to be in the line of fire. So you kept quiet and hidden. So that's how, when I was asked, how do you feel? It was like people asking me to become vulnerable. No, oh no, we can't do that. That's way too dangerous. And the reality is that was all based on the past. And it really wasn't until I got that the only time we can truly experience God right now is in the present moment. So for we're living in the past of, ooh, being vulnerable, that never paid out real well in the past. Well, that's okay, but that's not what we're talking about now. So it's like, can I get into the present moment, knowing that any thoughts of the past are just that, they're thoughts. Now, they may be attached to a very big belief, like, if you're going to be vulnerable, you are going to get crucified. And I learned how to separate. Eventually I learned how to separate these two and get into the present moment. It's like, I had whatever experiences I had as a child, but I don't have to continue the belief that I'm going to be victimized by this world of perception ever again. Because again, that was like the worst thing. I didn't want to be vulnerable. I didn't want to be weak. I had lots of beliefs about those words, but they were based on past experiences. And in the present moment of now, I'm an innocent, holy child of God, capable of unbelievable magnitude, magnanimous stuff. And it's really kind of, A Course in Miracles really is moving us into the quantum. And I don't know of any church that really supports the quantum. It's a nice idea, but the Course is really, with the mind training, it wants us to experience our quantumness and the quantumness of the world. But that means we have to move our minds off of the perception, that which we're believing through our senses, and trust the greater truth. And there is only one truth. It's not even a greater truth. It's only one truth. Your love. You're incapable of being a victim. You're incapable of being weak. You're incapable of suffering. But if we experience any of those, it's only a lesson I would learn. It's not to beat myself up. See, I've used all those terms to beat myself up through life. And it's only a lesson I would learn. And the correction is as simple as the prayer, Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. But I didn't learn this in kindergarten or any other time in my childhood. It was really, again, I'm so grateful to the cancer, because with that came a complete inability to be happy. That I knew. And I had been a student of A Course in Miracles long enough to know, damn, it says my only function is to be happy, and I am not happy. So what the hell? So then I went and turned it upside down on its ears. And this is something I was a student. I was a great student. I could learn anything. It may take me some time to learn it, but I could learn anything. So that's the way I took on A Course in Miracles. It wasn't to experience A Course in Miracles. It was to try and figure it out. So I spent the first 35 years trying to figure out A Course in Miracles. It can't be done. It cannot be done. It can only be experienced because, and this is where, there was a woman that was coming to our mind training sessions here at Namaste this week. And she was a voracious note taker. She would come in and she'd just be scribbling notes for like a whole hour. She'd be taking notes. And I came into the last class and I said, I don't want you to take notes. And she was like, oh my God, I can't do it. I don't have a memory. And, all her reasons, which were just beliefs about herself of why she couldn't not take notes. And I told her, I mean, because I really see myself in her a lot. I said, and she's a doctor too. So I know she's a good student. And she's trying to figure out A Course in Miracles too. I said, look, Course in Miracles is an experience. You can't study it and figure it out. You can only experience it. And that's why the question, how are you feeling, is so powerful. Because it tells you whether you're experiencing A Course in Miracles or you're not. If you're happy and peaceful, great. Just stay there. If you're not happy and peaceful, that's where you ask Holy Spirit in. Holy Spirit, help me see this differently. Bring up the lesson you would have me learn to experience God right now. And then there'll be a thought of a situation or a person or whatever that'll come into your mind. And all I can say is don't push it aside. Grab hold of it with both hands by the neck, if necessary. This is a lesson I would learn. And again, if it's a person, if it's a person or a situation, it'll usually land like this contracted, ooh, not that. And I say, yes, that. That's exactly what I need to learn. How to love this person or how to love this situation. And sometimes, when I was going through the foreclosure, oh Lord, what a mess that was. And a lot of forgiveness opportunities, but it wasn't until the end of it that I saw that I was fighting. I couldn't even see that I was fighting. Oh my God. How blind can you be? Calico, I think you're fighting this. Yeah, but I'm right. And I had everyone agreeing with me, all the attorneys I was hiring. You're right, you're right, you're right. So I was really right, but I was really unhappy. And I was really fighting. And that took me about 4 years of a lot of work. Those thoughts would come into my head. The thoughts would be, Chase Manhattan stole my home. Or Chase Manhattan stole whatever money I had in my home. They stole. Those are the thoughts that would come into my mind. And immediately when those thoughts would come into my mind, Holy Spirit, this is a lesson I would learn in forgiveness and love. Help me see this differently. I don't want to fight Chase Manhattan. And I walked away from the home with nothing. And it was the best thing I'd ever done. But at the time, I felt like I was losing everything. And that's why I know I had to fight, because my childhood experience was, get them before they get you. Fight them. I'm, half Irish. Fight them, those assholes. And the only asshole I was fighting was me. And in the process, I would suffer massively, thinking I was losing something, feeling like I wasn't fighting effectively. I needed to change my fighting principles of how I was doing it. Maybe a different attorney would do it better. Oh my God. Until I finally got, maybe I just need to let this go. And I had more criticism when I walked away from it. A lot of my Course in Miracles friends said, oh no, Calico, you can't walk. No, you can't do that. And I knew in my heart the truth was I had to do that, because I was going for the peace of God. And the only thing that I got from the foreclosure was fight it and then fight it bigger, or fight it differently. And with all those decisions, I suffered a lot until I was humble enough to say, okay, I'm going in a different direction. And that's okay. Because I'm on God's payroll. God's going to take care of me. I have nothing to worry about. It's just in my head, I thought I had attained all of the worldly possessions that I had in order to support me and protect me. Ooh, you will suffer with that belief, I guarantee it. That's a belief that will come back to beat you up a lot. And all I can say is ask Holy Spirit to see it differently, no matter what you find yourself suffering from. And stay in the prayer. So anytime that thought comes in, oh, they're getting away with something. Somebody's getting away with something. See, I hated that one too. I didn't want anyone to get away with anything. And the reality was there's nothing to get away from. There's only the experience of God to have. And all those thoughts will keep me from the experience of God and the experience of who I am, which is love. So if I see that my business is going down or getting slow, it's like, oh, okay. Maybe it's supposed to. I don't know. But I can't fight anything anymore. How is that landing for everybody? Any comments? Anything going on for you right now? This is not about digging up stuff from the past. Right now, if you're not happy and peaceful, why aren't you happy and peaceful?
I'll go.
Great.
And it's interesting because the lesson of the day for today is God's will for me is perfect happiness.
Yes.
I share God's will for happiness for me. I'm not happy. Okay. I don't know if you know, but I'm a caregiver, so it's not like I'm around a lot of people. There's just me, and I look after my dad. I do art on the side, play a bit of guitar. So it's my friends over the years have really dwindled down. I don't have really that many. Well, about a month. When I was younger, I used to play D&D. I hadn't played in years. D&D is kind of popping up in the world. And I thought, I should play again. So a month ago, I got into a group. Bought one book, bought some dice. 5 of us joined and started playing online, and it was fun because there was an interactive map, there was dice that was rolling, I had a character sheet that I made. We did this for about 4 or 5 times, and yesterday the dungeon master says, you know what, my work hours are changing, I can't do the group anymore. Group is done. So I just find, why do certain things come into my life and they're pretty good, and then they're gone?
That's pain and pleasure. What you're describing is pain and pleasure. So you had this distraction for a while that you liked. Now, I liken it to my experience.
Yeah.
I built a home in the most beautiful part of the world. I had views of mountains down a valley, and it was beautiful. And I remember saying when I first bought it, I'll never take this for granted. But the reality is it's still the perceived world.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so for whatever reason, your lesson is, okay, now time to put the dice down and to come back into something else. And this is where the prayer is, Holy Spirit, what would you have me learn from this?
Right.
Where are you needing me?
It's interesting because I just finished reading the book called The Surrender Experiment by Michael Singer. And within the whole book, he says, surrender to life, let things come in and let things flow out. So I thought, well, it's flowing out. I'll see what comes along. So I'm trying now to just surrender to what is, thank the experience, let it go, and just go with the flow.
And all I
So-
would ask to that, from a very Course in Miracles perspective, is when you have a thought that's, oh, why did it have to go? I miss it. Holy Spirit, let me see the lesson you would have me learn here.
Yeah.
And just be patient with it. And every time that thought comes in, oh, I miss that group. Holy
Yeah.
Spirit, help me see this differently. Let me learn what it is that you would have me learn with it. Because the Holy Spirit can move in immediately and assist,
Yeah.
but will only move in to help us with a request.
Right. Right. And I have said the request. I also know that when things leave your life, better things can come along.
Maybe not, okay? Because
Well, yeah,
well, then
maybe
it
not.
moves into this world of better and worse.
Okay.
And it's
Okay.
kind of like, I suggest get rid of those dualistic ideas.
Okay.
It's getting rid of something so that something else can move in. And it may just be another lesson I would learn. For me, I let go of the house and cancer moved in. Now, at the time that happened, I labeled this is worse. But the reality is, it was the best thing to ever happen to me. But I couldn't see that initially. Ooh, not at all.
I've had a number of things though that have kind of come in my life and then didn't quite work out the way I like. And I in my brain, my monkey mind goes, why do some things come in and I really love them or I'm enjoying them? And then it just, like, I enjoy playing guitar quite a bit, but I don't play a lot because I get a lot of pain sometimes in my shoulder. And I think, well, I love it. I have a passion for it, but yeah, so I just hand that over and say,
and that's,
okay.
again, it's that pleasure and pain are the same thing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
same things. It's just with our monkey minds, as you say, our ego minds, we like some things and we don't like others. And that's what needs to be reinterpreted. I like this, I don't like that, because they're the same thing. I go back, and this is many years ago, but I remember, oh, that lover that you fell in love with, the perfect person, the absolute one and only. You're going to be together forever. You were soulmates. You were twin flames. You were like hooked at the hip. And then they woke up with bad breath one morning. Could you brush your teeth? I can't even be around you right now. We're already starting to make that beautiful thing that we loved so much bad. Just like you, I love playing guitar, but my shoulder hurts me so much. Well, then I'd say probably not what you're to be doing right now. Just very simply, I don't know why, but if you're having pain with anything that used to bring you pleasure, it's a red flag. Time to do something different. And that's where I always ask for Holy Spirit, because and the Course is very clear with me. You don't know your advances from your retreats. You don't know your advances from your retreats. And I really got that. I got that. It's like, I don't know my advances from my retreat. This is where you have to give up being your own teacher. Well, I loved playing the guitar. I loved this person, but I don't know what's in my best interest. All I know is to ask for help from one that can assist, and then sees what plays out. Oh, the lover left. Oh, I'm not interested in playing the guitar because it does cause me pain. Okay, now what? Holy Spirit, I'm just going to wait here patiently for your guidance, for what's next for me to participate in. It's a very simple process, but I had a very complicated mind. And that's why I thought this thing from the get-go. This made no sense to me. Now it makes sense to me because I experienced the peace of God a lot. No matter where I am, what I'm doing, I am just like, happy for no apparent reason. And with that happiness, I have no desire necessarily to do anything. I forgot, I'm going to turn off the recording. So goodbye, everybody. Send me a private message if you'd like this group.